how are you tracking the changes that you're making in your health? Now, there are a lot of different ways that we can do this, and different levels of care are going to require different levels of changes, right? So if we're looking at something that is a medical type emergency, you're going to use CT or MRI or ultrasound or something more in depth, more advanced than what you're going to use at home. But no matter what you do, you should have some sort of metrics that you can use to track your progress throughout your healthcare plan. Whatever change you want to make, you've got to have a way to track that. And I mean, it doesn't matter what we're looking at here. Success in any realm, it requires tracking, and that's why kids in school get grades, right? We grade them on how well they do in a certain class. We graduate them to the next level based on that grade. Um, but this is true throughout life. In your career, most people get performance reviews, right? Every quarter or half a year or twice a year, whatever you want to call it. They take you back and they do performance reviews. They say this is where you're excelling at. These are the areas that you need the most work on. This is how you're going to get to that next level, and they reward you with pay. So no matter what we're in, whether we're talking about health or something else, tracking what we're doing is very, very important. And tracking can give you a lot of positive or negative feedback depending on where you're at and depending on what type of metric you're using. So again, depending on the level of care that you need for something, different types of health are going to require different types of tracking. Many of you probably use lab work. Lab work is a very simple one. Something you walk in, you get your blood taken, you wait a couple days, and you see where you're at. And how frequently you're doing this can affect your changes. So in general, they recommend every year going in and getting your labs done. I like getting my labs done more frequently than that. I try and get them at least every 6 months, and at times in my health, I will even get them quarterly. And I know that might sound a little nuts, and maybe it is, but it's my job to look at what can be done and how you take that next step forward. And quarterly gives me a lot more information. Your red blood cells are the fastest turning over cells in your body. They last about 4 months. So, every 3 to 4 months gives you a pretty good idea of what's going on inside of your cells, how they're responding to the changes you're making. The faster that I can find those, the more likely I am to know exactly what's going on. So I get mine done a little more frequently than the average person does. But you don't even have to have anything as fancy as lab work for some things. If you're tracking sleep, if you're tracking heart rate, if you're tracking breathing rate, your watch, or a ring or a watch, a Garmin, a Fitbit, Apple Watch, whatever it is, they all offer some very valuable metrics, I guess, for lack of better terms. They give you the advice that you need to take that next step. If you're really, really struggling with your energy throughout the day, how are you doing on your sleep at night? If you're not sleeping well at night, that's something that's going to be a problem for you, right? So you can track how well you're sleeping. You can make changes, and you can look and see how those changes are affecting the sleep that you're getting. That's going to help you move forward. It's going to give you the information that you need. As far as VO2 max is a great one for fitness. Not all watches track that. It's something that is specific to certain ones. I know the Garmin does track it. I don't believe Fitbit does, and I don't know about the Apple Watch. But there are different varieties out there that you could get that will help you track your fitness. Gives you a pretty good idea of how good a shape you're in. It's really just the amount of oxygen that your body is able to process in a given time period. You can even do pulse. If you don't have a watch, you don't want to spend money on a watch or anything like that, check your pulse. It's going to give you an idea of how you're responding to different things. What is your resting heart rate? So when you first wake up in the morning, what is your heart rate in those periods of time? What is it throughout the day? Are you getting stressed? Blood pressure machines are very, very, non-expensive. You can get one of the little wrist cuffs or one of the ones that goes around your arm. They're not as accurate as taking a manual blood pressure, but it still gives you a little bit of an idea. How are you responding to different things? If you want to get fancier at home, you can talk to your doctor. They do have the continuous blood glucose monitors now. But you can even do a blood stick. You poke your finger, you put it on there, and you check and see where your blood sugar's at. This is something that a lot of people don't do, something a lot of people should be doing. Because when we know not only where our blood sugar is, a lot of people are going to find out that theirs is higher than what it should be, and that's obviously a problem. But they can also figure out what types of foods are causing their blood pressure to spike. or their blood sugar to spike rather. So if you're eating, some people it's going to be, chips or whatever, some simple carb is going to cause it to spike. But other people might notice that fruit drives them crazy, or certain drinks drive them crazy, or whatever else. A lot of different things can throw your blood sugar off, just depending on who you are. So different people are going to process different foods in different ways. Having that continuous reminder is something that's going to help you. So my challenge to you, find something that you can do to track your progress. And this can be, like I said, it can be as simple as taking your pulse. It can be as simple as sitting down and writing out how you're feeling on a day, on every day of the week, what kind of workout you had, how the workout went, what kind of energy you had, different things like that, how you slept at night. You can track different things through journaling. This is why we do the things that we do in our office. We bring you in, we check and see the different metrics that are going to give us a better idea not only of where you're currently at, but we can always refer back to those and see what kind of progress you have made in that meantime. We test your strength. What are your ratios? Forward, backward, left, right, top to bottom. We know what they should be. Where are you at currently? And this isn't, some people are going to take this as this is a bad test. It's something that I quote unquote failed. And there's no failing in any of this stuff. It's finding where you're currently at so you can monitor where you're at and see what kind of progress you've made. That's all this is. And it doesn't matter what kind of success book you read. They all talk about having some sort of a metric to track your progress. And health is no different. Health, I will argue, is even more important because it's harder for us to see those changes. There's not a lot of us that know what our blood sugar is at a given time. There's not a lot of us that know what our blood pressure is at any given time. There's not a lot of us that know exactly how well we sleep. We might know that we didn't sleep real well or that we actually got a good night of sleep. We might know that we were in bed for X number of time, but how much quality deep sleep are you getting? How much quality REM sleep are you getting? These are things that we don't know inherently. Without tracking them, there's no real way to estimate it. So once we start paying attention to these things, you're going to be able to see that next step. You're going to be able to see what things affect you in what ways. You're going to see what things affect you in the positive ways so you can continue doing more of those things. And when we have that information, we can stack more and more of those positive things together. That's how you end up getting healthy. So I hope that this is helpful. If you do find this helpful, hit the like or subscribe button. It really does give me good information. I'm trying to figure out what you guys need. So the more information you can give me on the stuff that I'm putting out there, if it's good, if it's bad, let me know, and we'll either share more of it or we'll share less of it. So I love you all. I appreciate you. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.